Mark Zuckerberg talked about on this famous podcast, which is now circulating all of Twitter, at least for me it was, his proposed idea around AI helping loneliness. So let's watch this clip. I don't know how much I'm going to watch of it. Maybe we'll stop here and there and have some commentary, but let's watch this clip and we'll get into it. There's a lot I have to say on this, and if you have a lot to say on this topic as well, I would love for you to comment down below what you think about this.
The average American, I think it's fewer than 3 friends. 3 people that they'd consider friends. And the average person has demand for meaningfully more. I think it's like 15 friends or something, right? I guess there's probably some point where you're like, all right, I'm just too busy. I can't deal with more people. But the average person wants more connectivity, connection than they have. So, there's a lot of questions that people ask of stuff like, okay, is this going to replace kind of in-person connections or real life connections? And
like how Facebook already started to do in Meta, but I digress.
My default is that the answer to that is probably no. I think I think that there are all these things that are better about kind of physical connections when you can have them, but the reality is that people just don't have the connection and they feel more alone a lot of the time than they would like. So I think that a lot of these things that today there might be a little bit of a stigma around, I would guess that over time, we will find the vocabulary as a society to be able to articulate why that is valuable and why the people who are doing these things are like, why they are rational for doing it and how it is adding value for their lives. But also I think that the field is very early. So, it's like, I think, there are a handful of companies and stuff who are doing virtual therapist and, there's like virtual girlfriend type stuff, but it's very early. Right. Yeah. The embodiment in the things is pretty weak. A lot of them, like you open it up and it's just like an image of the therapist or the person you're talking to or whatever. Sometimes there's some very rough animation, but it's not like an embodiment.
Okay, there's so many things I could say about this video and this topic in general. Maybe I start with the bright side of what he said, because as everybody started absolutely tearing him apart, especially online, because online is incredibly toxic, I kind of understood. What he was saying. Do I think that it's the answer? And do I think that Meta has done like great things for society as a whole and has like a huge net positive for the world? No. But I get what he's saying, where he's like, there are people in the world that can't socially connect as much as they would want to in person. So like AI chatbots can in turn supplement some of that human connectivity. Now, I think when we go back to the history of social media in general, that was the original idea, social media. Now, has that like name been taken and then just like conformed into something else? Absolutely. I don't think social media is social anymore at all. I've heard the term interest media, so it's interest-based media versus social media, and I think that that's actually a great way to describe the landscape of our social media that we have right now and the platforms that are here right now. I just want to first point out, I kind of get where he's coming from in terms of, hey, like there's new companies that are coming out with therapists and dating chatbots for people that maybe can't date. And I won't say who, but I do know someone personally that probably will never be able to have a real relationship because of special needs. For someone like that, I think about how maybe these things could be used in a positive light just for more engagement. I don't know. But then I as soon as I'm saying that, I sit there and I hesitate because I just don't think virtual connectivity will replace the real thing of physical connection, and I don't think it should replace the physical connection. And the huge issue that I had with this video is when he said, I don't think we have like the vocabulary to kind of talk about this in culture. And he was talking about like the chatbots. Like I feel like he was trying to say later on we're going to be accepting these chatbots as like real connection, but we're just not ready for it yet because the technology and the space is so new. But I sit there and I'm like, should we ever truly accept this as normal and as okay? I'm kind of leaving this a little bit open-ended because I don't know for sure. And I would love to know your guys' thoughts on this. Do you know someone that's been having an AI girlfriend? Do you know of anyone that is completely against chatbots, especially for mental health? Like if you're a licensed therapist or something like that, like I would love to hear your thoughts because I can only speculate the problems that will arise with chatbots.